In 1892, the first long-distance telephone exchange between New York and Chicago was opened by Alexander Graham Bell. The first long-distance telephone lines were actually installed using telegraph poles that were already in place. This made it possible to connect the two cities without having to build new infrastructure. In 1945, the first page of Schindler's List. Oskar Schindler was a German businessman and factory owner who saved the lives of around 1,200 Jewish people during the Holocaust by employing them in his ammunition and utensil factories in Poland. In 1981, Soviet Secretary General Brezhnev was bathing in the Black Sea. However, just over a year later, he passed away. In 1953, the Queen Mother, Princess Margaret, and the board Prince Charles were present at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II at Westminster Abbey. Prince Charles was only 4 years old and became so bored that he began to play with the coronation service and had to be hushed by his mother, Queen Elizabeth, and his grandmother, the Queen Mother. Beer on tap was served on one of Lufthansa's flights in 1964. An interesting fact about this is that serving beer on tap was a significant step forward in the airline industry during that time, as it allowed passengers to enjoy fresh, cold beer at high altitudes, which was not possible with bottled or canned beer due to the pressure changes that occur during flights. Lufthansa's decision to serve beer on tap was well received by passengers and helped to establish the airline's reputation for quality and innovation. The TEDx 3319 Titan, produced by General Motors in Canada, was the largest truck ever manufactured in the world in 1974. Interesting fact about this is that the TEDx 3319 was so huge that it required the use of 4 engines to power it, and each engine was capable of generating up to 1,000 horsepower. Its massive size and power made it ideal for the use in mining operations, where it was able to transport large amounts of earth and rock with ease. Despite its impressive capabilities, however, the TEDx 3319 Titan was only in production for a few years and is now considered a rare collector's item. In 1994, the executives of 7 largest American tobacco companies testified under oath in court that nicotine consumption does not cause addiction. Despite the executives' sworn testimony, internal documents later revealed that tobacco companies were aware of the addictive nature of nicotine and intentionally designed the products to be more addictive. The documents also showed that the companies targeted young people and other vulnerable groups with their marketing campaigns. The executive's testimony was later used as evidence in lawsuits against the tobacco industry and contributed to changes in public perception and legalization regarding tobacco use. In 1905, a Russian spy was beheaded near the city of Kaiyuan in China during the Russo-Japanese War. During the Russo-Japanese War, both sides frequently used spies to gather intelligence about their enemies' military plans. The use of spies was particularly important for Japan, which had a smaller army than Russia and needed to rely on intelligence to gain an advantage. In New York, a group of small business owners protested against the planned construction of the World Trade Center in 1962. Did you know that before the construction of the World Trade Center, the site was occupied by Radio Row, a bustling district of electronic stores and shops? Many of the small business owners who protested against the construction of the towers were from this area, which was ultimately demolished to make way for the World Trade Center complex. Following the massacre at Tiananmen Square, Chinese military soldiers attacked participants of the student protest that began on April 14th at Beijing's Tiananmen Square, leaving the area in ruins. The number of casualties varies widely, with estimates ranging from 200 to several thousand. The exact number of casualties from the Tiananmen Square massacre is still unknown and remains a sensitive topic in China. The Chinese government has never released an official death toll, and discussions of the event is heavily censored in China to this day. In 1992, 0.15 grams of californium-252 was shipped from Oak Ridge. This highly radioactive artificially produced element is used for nuclear weapons and as a medical radiation source. Due to the extremely demanding production conditions required, californium-252 is one of the most expensive materials on Earth, with a current price of approximately $27 million per gram. In 1978, Sigourney Weaver was practicing with a flamethrower for her role in the movie Alien before filming began. Did you know that the flamethrower used by Sigourney Weaver's character, Ellen Ripley, in the movie Alien was actually a repurposed World War II flamethrower? The filmmakers modified it to look futuristic and match the aesthetic of the film's universe. In 1929, passengers were boarding the British airship R-101, which unfortunately went on to meet a tragic fate. The boarding took place on top of the mooring mast, which was a tower-like structure used to anchor the airship. The R-101 airship was actually the largest flying machine of its time, measuring about 236 meters or 774 feet in length. To give you some perspective, that is longer than 2 football fields. In 2003, a member of the Delta Force team was present when Saddam Hussein was captured. The operation was executed by a joint team, US Delta Force and CIA agents, as well as Iraqi Special Forces. It ended after a hole was found in the ground where he was hiding, and he was apprehended without any resistance. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you share it with your friends. Don't forget to comment your favorite picture from this series and check back for more in a later date. Thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the show.